Dear friends, welcome to our channel. We are very happy to share with you different stories about love and betrayal from around the world. Now let's begin today's story journey. You sit at that table over there. Jennifer's father pointed to a small table in the corner of the restaurant, with a tone of undeniable command. Michael stood at the entrance of the luxury resort hotel restaurant, feeling everyone's eyes on him. Jennifer's parents, her sister and brother-in-law, even her 10-year-old nephew were sitting around a large round table. And for him, they had arranged a lonely double table in the corner. He looked at his wife Jennifer, hoping she would say something, but she only avoided his gaze, focusing intently on her phone. This was their first time participating in her family's annual Florida vacation in 5 years of marriage, and he already felt like an unwelcome stranger. "Is your father serious?" Michael asked quietly. Jennifer finally looked up, shrugging. "That's just how they are. Don't mind it." Michael took a deep breath and calmly responded, "Fine. I have my own ways too." He walked to that lonely small table and began to browse the menu. The restaurant echoed with laughter and chatter, but not a single voice was directed at him. Throughout the entire dinner, Jennifer's family pretended he didn't exist, even though he was sitting less than 10 meters away. When they returned to the hotel room that night, Jennifer immediately headed into the bathroom. Michael sat on the edge of the bed, recalling his wife's unusual behavior over the past few months. Frequent overtime, suddenly changed passwords on her phone, and those secret calls she thought he hadn't noticed. Jennifer used to be the woman who loved to pull him into late-night conversations, but now she was like a stranger sharing his space. A year ago, everything wasn't like this. They were both executives at a tech company, Michael in charge of software development, Jennifer responsible for marketing. Their union was described by colleagues as a perfect match: two smart, ambitious, and mutually understanding people. Without the burden of children, they had plenty of time to focus on their careers and each other. Michael remembered how Jennifer's vitality and intelligence had attracted him when they first met. She always had new ideas and was passionate about life. She was different from other women he had dated, having both ambition and empathy. By the third month of knowing her, Michael was certain she was the person he wanted to spend his life with. During their 5 years of marriage, they had certainly experienced arguments and difficult periods. Last year, when the company was restructuring, Michael was particularly stressed and did bring work home for several weeks. But he had never neglected Jennifer's needs, nor had he put his career before their marriage. Even during his busiest times, he made sure to set aside time each week to be with her, cooking together, watching movies, or just walking and talking. Jennifer emerged from the bathroom, dressed in her pajamas, and climbed onto the other side of the bed. She didn't even look at him. "Jennifer, we need to talk," Michael said. "I'm tired." "Can we talk tomorrow?" she replied, her voice carrying obvious detachment as she turned her back to him. Michael was silent for a moment, then picked up his laptop. "Okay, you rest. I have some work to finish." Jennifer fell asleep quickly, while Michael opened an unfamiliar program. It was a small tool he had developed in recent weeks that could extract data streams from all devices connected to the same Wi-Fi network. This was in an ethical and legal gray area, but in the case of suspected betrayal, Michael decided it was necessary. As the data began to flow in, Michael discovered evidence that broke his heart. Jennifer had intensive communication records with someone named Nathan. The message content clearly indicated they were having an extramarital affair. More shocking was that several messages mentioned this family vacation. Jennifer had told Nathan how she had convinced her family to treat Michael. She could have an excuse to sneak out at night to meet Nathan without arousing Michael's suspicion. As it turned out, Nathan was also at this resort, staying at another hotel just a few kilometers away. One message particularly stabbed at Michael's heart. "My parents never really accepted Michael. They always thought I married beneath me. Now that I've convinced them Michael treats me badly, they're more willing to take my side." This wasn't just betrayal. It was a carefully planned conspiracy. Jennifer wasn't just having an affair. She was using her family to isolate him, making excuses for her infidelity. Michael's world collapsed in an instant, but he didn't immediately explode. Instead, he began to formulate a plan. He quietly left the room and went to the hotel's public area. Using his technical expertise, he hacked into the hotel's security system, discovering the surveillance cameras in the back garden. Then, he installed a timed program on the electronic information display system in the lobby. When he returned to the room, Jennifer was still asleep. Michael looked at her face, remembering the woman he had once deeply loved. She now looked so unfamiliar, as if she were merely a shell of the person she once was. He didn't sleep, thinking and preparing all night. Before dawn, he had made his decision. The next morning, Jennifer's family gathered in the hotel lobby, preparing to go to the beach together. When Jennifer came out of the elevator, her face instantly turned pale. In the center of the lobby, the electronic display screen was cycling through images of her and Nathan embracing intimately in the hotel's back garden, as well as screenshots of explicit text messages between them. "What is this?" Jennifer's father asked sternly, his voice trembling with shock. Jennifer was speechless, unable to respond. At that moment, Michael walked out from another elevator, holding a laptop. "Good morning, everyone," he said calmly. "It seems you've discovered my way." The scene fell into silence. Jennifer's sister covered her nephew's eyes, and Jennifer's mother let out a low whimper. "Michael, I can explain," Jennifer began, her voice trembling. "No need," Michael replied. "The facts are already clear. I recorded your entire meeting with Nathan last night. I know he's at the nearby Ocean View Hotel. I know you planned all of this, including having your family isolate me." Jennifer's father, a usually lofty man, looked as if he had been slapped. "What do you mean? Jennifer, is this true?" Jennifer couldn't answer, tears beginning to slide down her cheeks. "Don't worry, the video is only playing on this screen," Michael said. "I'm not here to publicly humiliate anyone. I just wanted the truth to come out." He turned to Jennifer. "I've already contacted a lawyer. The divorce papers will be delivered after we return home. As for this vacation, I think I'm no longer welcome. I've booked a flight back for today." With that, Michael turned and left, leaving Jennifer and her family standing there, enveloped in shock and shame. Jennifer's mother was the first to recover. "Jennifer, what is going on? You made us believe Michael was treating you badly, so that's why we treated him that way. I can't believe you would do this to us, to your husband," her father continued, his voice filled with disappointment. "You know how much we value the family's honor." Jennifer watched as her parents' expressions changed from shock to disappointment and anger, realizing she had not only lost her husband, but also her family's trust. On the return flight, Michael felt a strange calm. The pain was still there, but the moment he decided to leave, he felt like he had regained control of his life's direction. He knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but at least it was a path he had chosen himself. Back home, Michael began to reorganize his life. As a software development director, he had enough resources to rent a comfortable apartment while starting the divorce proceedings. Jennifer tried countless times to contact him, but Michael remained silent, communicating only through lawyers. He began to clear out the traces of their life together: photos, gifts, mementos. Each item carried memories of the past, and now these memories were all tainted with betrayal. He didn't angrily destroy these things, but calmly packed them away, storing them where he couldn't see them. Meanwhile, Jennifer's world began to collapse. Her affair not only hurt Michael, but also caused her to lose face in front of her family. Jennifer's parents had always had reservations about Michael, thinking he wasn't good enough for their daughter, but now they understood who had been deceived. They felt ashamed of their daughter's behavior, even refusing to contact her for a time. After the divorce proceedings began, Jennifer tried to reconcile, sending long messages explaining her actions, but Michael refused to read them. For him, the reasons no longer mattered. Whether it was work pressure, emotional distance, or a momentary impulse, the fact of betrayal wouldn't change. Nathan, a somewhat renowned entrepreneur in the tech startup field, was Jennifer's friend from college. When he reappeared in Jennifer's life a year ago, he brought the excitement and adventure Jennifer had once craved. Michael was reliable and stable, while Nathan represented the unknown and possibility. Jennifer was attracted to Nathan's charm and his grand vision for the future. Nathan claimed his new startup was about to receive major funding, and he painted a picture of a luxurious life that enticed Jennifer. Although Jennifer was also successful in her career, Nathan's appearance made her start questioning her marriage and life choices. Initially, Jennifer saw her relationship with Nathan merely as an escape, a thrill in her ordinary life. She told herself it was temporary and wouldn't affect her marriage. But as time went on, she became increasingly addicted to the excitement this double life brought. The pleasure of betrayal and the thrill of secrecy made her ignore the consequences of her actions. But as the divorce proceedings progressed, Jennifer began to discover that Nathan wasn't as perfect as she had imagined. When she needed emotional support, Nathan was often not around. He became increasingly impatient with her needs, especially when she talked about her predicaments. "Didn't you say your marriage was already dead in all but name?" Nathan impatiently said. "Don't let these issues affect our relationship." After a failed attempt to reconcile with Michael, Jennifer returned to the apartment she shared with Nathan, only to find him on a phone call discussing an investment plan she had never heard of. "Yes, everything is going according to plan. She knows the internal workings of the company inside out," Nathan said, not noticing Jennifer standing at the door. "Once we get the market strategy, I'll implement the next step. Don't worry, she trusts me completely." Jennifer's heart sank. She realized Nathan may have approached her to gain access to her company's trade secrets. As the marketing director, Jennifer had key information about upcoming products and marketing strategies. Nathan had always been interested in her work, often asking for details, and she naively thought this was care and support. When Jennifer confronted Nathan, he initially denied it, but eventually admitted part of the truth when faced with evidence. He claimed that he initially approached her for business intelligence, but later truly fell in love with her. Jennifer didn't know what to believe, but she knew she had been betrayed again. "You used me?" Jennifer asked in disbelief. "Don't be so dramatic, Jennifer," Nathan coldly replied. "This is how the business world works. And don't act like you're innocent. You betrayed your husband, and now you want to blame me for your choices?" His words stung Jennifer like a knife. She suddenly realized that Michael had never treated her this way, even in the most difficult times. The next day, Jennifer discovered that Nathan had moved all his things out, leaving a brief note. "I'm sorry, things got too complicated. Good luck." Just like that, Jennifer lost her husband, her family's respect, and now even the relationship she thought was true love proved to be a scam. She was alone, facing the consequences of her choices. Michael never thought rebuilding his life would be so difficult. Although he succeeded in his career, the trauma in his personal life made it hard for him to trust others. The divorce proceedings went more smoothly than expected. Jennifer didn't fight for anything that wasn't hers, even voluntarily giving up some shared property. But the ease of property division couldn't compensate for the emotional wounds. During the divorce process, Michael discovered a surprising fact. Jennifer had been transferring money from their joint account for the past few months, a total amount close to $100,000. This money was likely used to support Nathan's so-called startup. This discovery further confirmed Michael's determination. Completely cutting off all ties with Jennifer was the right decision. To distract himself, Michael immersed himself in work. His talent and effort paid off. In less than 3 months, he was promoted to senior manager of the technical team. But privately, he was still struggling with loneliness and a sense of betrayal. One day, the company held a team-building activity where Michael met Olivia, a new member of the marketing department. Unlike Jennifer, Olivia came across as calm and sincere. She had also experienced a failed marriage, so when Michael mentioned his situation, her understanding was genuine. "It takes time," Olivia said. "The scars of betrayal don't easily disappear." Michael appreciated her directness and honesty. They began having lunch together regularly, discussing work and life. This wasn't the beginning of passion, but a friendship built on mutual understanding and respect. One evening, Michael received an email from Jennifer's company CEO, inviting him for a private conversation. Out of curiosity, Michael agreed to the meeting. "First, I'm very sorry for everything you've been through," the CEO said straightforwardly. "But I'm contacting you because we've discovered something you should know." The CEO explained that the company had found someone trying to steal trade secrets, and tracking showed the information leak was related to Jennifer's account. Further investigation revealed that Nathan was a spy sent by a competitor aiming to acquire information about the upcoming new product. "We don't think Jennifer did it intentionally, but her actions constituted a serious violation," the CEO said. "Considering the special circumstances, we decided to give her a chance to explain, but she has already submitted her resignation." Michael felt a bitter satisfaction. Jennifer hadn't just lost her marriage. Now she had also lost the career she prided herself on. And all of this stemmed from her choice of betrayal. "I'm sorry to hear that," Michael said, maintaining professional coolness. But this is no longer my concern. The CEO nodded, showing understanding. I just thought you had the right to know. Also, considering your excellent performance over the past few months, the company would like to offer you a new position. Thus, Michael was promoted to technical director, responsible for the company's core product development. This opportunity allowed him to focus on his career rather than dwelling on past pain. A few weeks later, Michael formally met Olivia in a divorce support group. It turned out she not only worked at the same company, but also attended the same support group. This coincidence made their relationship closer. Olivia was gentle and understanding. Having experienced similar betrayal, she became an important support in Michael's healing process. Have you ever thought about forgiving Jennifer? Olivia asked during a late-night conversation. Michael shook his head. Not because I can't let go of anger, but because once trust is broken, it can't be fully repaired. I won't forgive betrayal, and I won't forget. That relationship is dead, and I must look forward. Olivia nodded understandingly. Everyone has their own boundaries. It's important to know what is unacceptable to you. Meanwhile, Jennifer's life had fallen into difficulty. After losing her job, she found herself labeled as untrustworthy in the industry. Nathan had not only used her emotions, but also used her to steal trade secrets, which destroyed her reputation in the professional field. Worse still, she began receiving legal threats from Nathan's company. They claimed Jennifer had voluntarily provided trade secrets for personal gain, rather than being manipulated by Nathan. This was completely turning black into white. But Jennifer found herself trapped in a carefully designed trap, with no solid evidence to prove her innocence. Jennifer tried to contact Michael for help, but he refused direct dialogue, only conveying a message through his lawyer. You chose to believe a stranger over your husband. Now you must face the consequences of that choice. In desperation, Jennifer returned to her parents' home. The once proud daughter had now lost everything: marriage, career, and dignity. Her parents accepted her, but the atmosphere at home was filled with unspoken disappointment and regret. I don't understand. Jennifer's mother finally spoke one evening. Michael was a good man. He loved you, respected you. Why betray him? Jennifer couldn't give a satisfactory answer. She had once convinced herself that Michael didn't care enough about her, was too focused on work, but looking back now, these were all just excuses. The truth was, she had been seduced by Nathan's charm and false promises, letting herself believe that being with him would give her a better future. I made a terrible mistake, Mom, Jennifer admitted, tears sliding down her cheeks. I hurt the only person who truly loved me, and now it's too late. Jennifer's father, a typically stern man, looked at his daughter's collapse with an unusually gentle tone. The mistake has been made, and reflection can't undo it. What's important is what you've learned from it and how you rebuild your life. This was the first time Jennifer had seen her father show such understanding. For years, he had been critical of her choices, including her choice of Michael as a husband. But now, faced with his daughter's failure, he chose support over blame. I don't know what to do, Dad, Jennifer said softly. I've lost everything important. Then take it one step at a time, he replied. First, you need to resolve those legal issues. On her father's advice, Jennifer hired an experienced lawyer to deal with the legal threats from Nathan's company. This lawyer suggested she try to collect evidence proving she was a manipulated victim, not an accomplice. Jennifer began looking for traces Nathan had left behind. She recalled every conversation, every message that might hint at his true intentions. But Nathan was a cautious person, rarely leaving written evidence. Just when Jennifer was about to give up hope, she received an anonymous email containing communication records between Nathan and his real employer. The email sender claimed to be a former colleague of Nathan who decided to help her out of conscience. These records clearly showed Jennifer was the victim of a carefully designed scam. Jennifer immediately handed this evidence to her lawyer, while also discovering that this anonymous email had been sent to Michael as well. She knew it was Michael who had forwarded this evidence to her, although he chose not to contact her directly. This was the only help he provided, a silent gesture, both for justice and as a final farewell. Meanwhile, Nathan's scam was finally exposed. He had not only manipulated Jennifer to gain business intelligence, but had also deceived investors in multiple startup projects. Authorities launched an investigation against him, freezing his assets. Nathan tried to flee the country but was intercepted and arrested at the airport. All of this came too late for Jennifer. Although she successfully avoided legal responsibility, her career and marriage were already beyond salvage. She expressed deep gratitude and apologized again to Michael through her lawyer. Michael's reply was brief and clear. "I hope you can rebuild your life, just as I am doing. But our paths have permanently diverged. Please do not contact me again." Though cold, this reply gave Jennifer a clear signal. Michael had moved on, and she should do the same. 6 months later, Michael's life began to get back on track. He was promoted to the company's technical director, and his relationship with Olivia gradually deepened. Though the scars remained, he learned to trust again and open his heart. Michael and Olivia's relationship developed slowly but steadily. They both carried scars from the past, both understanding the fragility and preciousness of trust. Before confirming their relationship, they spent enough time getting to know each other, building a solid foundation. Meanwhile, Jennifer was also rebuilding her life. After months of job hunting, she finally found work at a small company. The salary was far less than before, but it gave her a chance to start over. She began seeing a counselor, trying to understand her behavior and choices. Sometimes, Jennifer would think of Michael, wondering how he was doing. But she respected his decision and didn't try to contact him. Once, she saw a photo of Michael and Olivia on social media. They looked happy. This made her feel both relief and an indescribable sense of loss. For Jennifer, losing Michael was the biggest regret of her life. Even years later, when she found stable work and began a new relationship, what she lost through betrayal could never be compensated. She learned to accept this fact. Some mistakes come with permanent costs. Some damages cannot be healed by time. And Michael, though he found new happiness, could never forget that night in Florida when he was isolated at a corner table and the betrayal he discovered afterward. That experience taught him the importance of setting boundaries and the necessity of knowing what he could accept and what he couldn't. A year later, Michael and Olivia decided to move to the West Coast to live together, starting a brand new chapter in life. Leaving this city full of memories made Michael feel relieved. It was a way to completely say goodbye to the past. On their last night before moving, Michael received a letter from Jennifer. Unlike previous apologies and explanations, this letter contained only a simple sentence: "I wish you happiness." Michael didn't reply, just placed the letter among the items he was leaving in the old apartment. Some chapters must completely end for new journeys to begin. One day, while Michael and Olivia were unpacking in their new home in California, he accidentally found an old photo. He and Jennifer when they were first married, both smiling brightly, full of hope. Olivia walked over and saw the photo in his hand. "Do you want to keep it?" she asked softly. Michael thought for a moment, then shook his head. "No, that's already in the past." He put the photo in the trash bin, then walked with Olivia to the balcony to enjoy the California coastal sunset. In the shadow of betrayal, he found the strength to move forward and the courage to rebuild his life. And perhaps this was the only gift from this experience, knowing he was stronger than he imagined, more capable of rising from the ashes. Jennifer was also moving forward on her own life journey. She was no longer the person who would betray her loved one for excitement and false promises. Through painful lessons, she learned the value of honesty and loyalty. Although she couldn't salvage her relationship with Michael, she could ensure she wouldn't make the same mistake again. Nathan served his sentence in prison, losing everything: reputation, wealth, and freedom. His scam ultimately brought the deserved consequences, proving that deceiving and manipulating others ultimately harms both others and oneself. In life's journey, every choice has its consequences. Michael chose to uphold his values, refused to accept betrayal, and eventually found new happiness. Jennifer chose betrayal, paid the price of losing everything, but also gained growth through pain. And Nathan chose deception and manipulation, ultimately losing his freedom and dignity. Many years later, on a chance day, Michael and Jennifer unexpectedly met at an industry conference. The two politely nodded in greeting but didn't speak. They had each walked their own paths. The traces of betrayal, though forever existing, no longer dominated their lives. Michael looked at Jennifer in the distance, remembering everything they once had and how betrayal had destroyed it all. He felt no hatred, no love, only a faint awareness. Some boundaries, once crossed, can never allow a return to the past. If this story resonated with you, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful content. Looking forward to seeing you in our next story.